Steve Cohen of Tennessee. He is a Clinton supporter. Haven't seen you in a while, Congressman. How you doing?
Chris, it's good to be back with you, and I'm doing a lot better than the last time.
Good. You know, I was going to say, I would have up your personal situation to one of the most bizarre things I've covered in politics, but now we have this election in front of us, so you have dropped down the list forever and at best second place. How do you tell people, how do you explain what this choice is about in this election that seems to have become a question of who is less bad?
Well, it has become that to a lot of people. Secretary Clinton is a person who has a lot of experience and knowledge of government and world affairs and how to deal with people in a rational way. The other candidate is the most, in my opinion, bizarre candidate that we've ever had on a national ticket. A sociopathic, megalomaniac, narcissistic individual with a detention span of a flea. And the idea that he's the candidate of the Republican Party is anathema to any decent historical Republican that thinks of Dwight Eisenhower, thinks of Charles Percy, thinks of Bill Schaefer, thinks of George Romney, any of those type people. The Republican Party had people that understood the issues. They presented candidates that could act as president even if their positions were a little more conservative than the Democrats. But this year it's a choice between competence or incompetence. And I think the American people will choose the right candidate, and we'll have somebody that can see that we honor our obligations with NATO to protect people. I've been to the Baltic region, and those people are very fearful of Russia. We can't have a person like Trump who might be making deals that make the Trump Plaza in Moscow or some other Russian country or some other business enterprise a priority over our nation. America first means Trump second.
You have two states of play. The first is, whom do people like better? Let's put up the numbers, your favorable, unfavorables in this race at last current count. You have the most historically negative numbers for both of these candidates. You have, they're right up on the screen for the audience right now. Favorable, 46 and 40. At this point in an election, almost unheard of for two nominees. Unfavorable, 52 and 57, almost 60 for Trump. Again, unheard of. So what do you say to people who say, I don't like her for 1,000 reasons, and I don't like him, so it's a wash? What do you say to them?
It's not a wash. I understand that people don't like both candidates, and the unfavorables are so high. But Secretary Clinton is knowledgeable and competent. She served in the United States Senate. She's been Secretary of State. When she was First Lady, she was active in all the issues that were affecting America then that affect America today.
But that's why, Congressman, people are against her. People use her experience as a negative because, as you know, you see this in your state acutely. People are desperate for change. They say the system is rotten to the core, and they believe it is worth it to take the risk on someone like Trump because they are so desperate for something different.
Well, unfortunately, some people that do that aren't looking at the lack of ability that Trump has. Trump doesn't have a plan for them. He doesn't have an economic plan. He doesn't have a foreign policy plan. He has no plan at all. And change is one thing, and taking the course of state and putting it off to wreck it is another. And you would wreck it by putting somebody in who has not the experience or the demeanor to lead this nation. Trump could not work with Congress. Trump doesn't understand the three branches of government. He thinks he can just appoint people without the Senate confirmation on the Supreme Court. He wouldn't work with foreign leaders. He doesn't know repercussions of his actions. And he's just not a person that would jeopardize everything the United States is about in terms of our relations with foreign nations. I understand the need for change. We need change in this country, and we're certainly going to have it. But change is normally evolutionary, not revolutionary. And you're more likely to get that evolutionary change with Secretary Clinton, who's going to guide us in the right direction and guide us in the direction that President Obama has taken us to try to make things better. You know, I was listening about President Obama being the closer. He's Mariano Rivera, and he's going to get out there and throw that hard ball, and people are going to get out and vote, and they better vote because it's civil rights on the line, it's health care on the line, it's the middle class, it's in jeopardy, and it's the middle class that doesn't get it. They've been bamboozled by this guy Trump, who cares about only himself. He is what my friend Warren Zevon wrote about, Mr. Bad Example.
Warren Zevon. I'm going to end it on that, Congressman Cohen. You win for that reference.
Send lawyers, guns, and money.
I know that. Thank you very much. Congressman Cohen, you always surprise. Thank you very much. Allison.
I was afraid it was going to be Werewolf in London.
Now you win.
But we like the references, the musical references, always on New Day. So let's get the other